Hey BookTube! Chelsea, the Reading Outlaw, here to do my first ever created tag video. I'm so excited, you guys. Before I start, I have to give shout outs to two people. The first one is P.T. Hilton. I watched a video of him talking about this subject like months and months ago, and I just thought it was super, super fascinating. And then I also have to give a quick nod to Jen Campbell. This tag is kind of styled in the way that she does her tags, which is basically to say very open-ended, and I always find her tags to be really inspiring. So just want to shout out thank you to her for kind of inspiring me to do this. She has no idea probably even who I am, let alone that I'm taking a cue from her. But there you have it. This is the best loved books tag. I feel like in BookTube we get awfully caught up, and rightly so, in showing all these spiffy new books that we're bringing in from the library or that we're buying and bringing home. But in all of that love for our new books, some of our old books get kind of pushed to the side. So I have 5 of my most worn down and well loved, best loved books that I pulled off my shelf. So I'm going to show them to you guys and kind of tell you a little bit about them. And that's the whole point of the tag. So let's get started. The first on the list, I'm actually going to have to show you the spine for, and it is The Prince of Tides by Pat Conroy. And I have to show you the spine because the front cover is totally gone. In fact, the thing, like, where I'm not even the first couple pages of, like, the prologue, it's just gone. It looks like I'm maybe about to lose those too. I could get another copy of this book. I'm sure I could get another copy of all these books, but I love this copy because it was handed to me by my junior year English teacher because I had already read everything for her class. And I was like, I need something else to read. And she was like, don't tell anybody I'm giving you this, but here's The Prince of Tides. Sorry, your secret's out. But yeah, at the time, I mean, granted, Prince of Tides has some content that like is not necessarily high school appropriate, depending on how you feel about what high schoolers are prepared for. So I don't think she want to get in trouble with like the administration. So she had me not tell anybody. But since then, I have reread this book maybe 4 or 5 times. Pat Conroy has such a skill with evoking these kind of like South Carolina lowlands and this whole like beach Carolina vibe that regardless of the plot, which is intriguing but a little insane, the writing alone really has some like take your breath away beautiful moments. Next up is one of the few copies of a book that my dad gave me, or I should say a copy of one of the few books my dad has given me, and it is his old copy of Breakfast of Champions by Kurt Vonnegut. As you can see, it is looking a little beat up. The inner pages are definitely, the spine has been cracked accordingly. The pages are starting to yellow. I'm not even that huge a Kurt Vonnegut fan, but I will love this book forever because my dad gave it to me, and my dad's not always the most bookish of people, but he loves Kurt Vonnegut, and so there it sits on my shelf, beat up in bright yellow. Next up is a book that I stole from my sister, but this was probably my favorite book for all of junior high. It's not a good book. Don't get excited. It's called Roommates by Katherine Stone. This is another one where I don't have a cover. This time I don't have a back cover. The pages are beat up. They're dog-eared, and I taped it on. This also had a prologue that has since been lost. So we just start right with part 1, chapter 1. But this is the story of Carrie and Megan and Beth, 3 roommates who meet their first year at Stanford. And it's also about Carrie's brother Steven and Steven's roommate Jake. And basically, it's kind of these 5 people as they have like soap operatic adventures throughout the 70s, 80s, and 90s. There is war, murder, kidnapping, computer programming, sex. What more could you want? There's this really good scene in like this cabin in the woods, which that's something I should have talked about in my Wednesday trope video, which is cabins in the woods and the sexy times that happen there, because I've been to a cabin in the woods, guys. It's not like romantically conducive. It's like murdery. So yes, this is Roommates by Katherine Stone. If you just want a good fanciful fiction romp that's somewhat romance, somewhat thriller, and just really a pulp classic, Pick Yourself Up Roommates by Catherine Stone, but get a better copy than I have. This is actually one for my mom. A bunch of the videos you're seeing today are obviously like gifted to me by other people, and it is her copy of The Lord of the Rings. I'm just showing you the Fellowship because I didn't want to drag all the other ones off the shelf, but safe to say they pretty much all look just about this bad. I'm hoping I won't have to tell you guys what see, look at that. The spine's broken. Yeah. I don't have to tell you guys what these are about, but these are my mom's absolutely favorite books of all time. Anybody who's watching my channel for long enough knows that these are not my favorite books. In fact, I've never actually finished all three of The Lord of the Rings. I don't think it's necessary. I didn't particularly care for it. But this is one of those times where the book as an object means more than the book as a vessel for fiction and a vessel for storytelling. So I will keep my mom's three copies of The Lord of the Rings on my shelf for the rest of my life because they're hers and they're her favorites. And when she is very sadly no longer here, I will always have her books. So they will always sit there as a tiny piece of my mom on my bookshelf. And even if I don't ever read them, I'm glad to have them just for that reason. Also the case with the last book I have to show you, which is my grandmother's old copy of Peter Pan by J.M. Barrie, illustrated by Trina Shart-Hyman. Here's the illustration on the back so you can get a little bit of a feel for what the illustrations look like. My grandma used to read this to me before bed when I would stay the night at her house. When I got older, she told me it could just come to be with me. I don't usually take it down off the shelf because it is getting, as you can see, very, very old and very beat up, and I don't want anything to happen to it. But yes, this is one of my grandmother's favorite books, favorite childhood books, and it just means a lot to me that she actually gave me her copy. So now when Will's old enough, I will be reading him Peter Pan, probably out of a different copy than this, but we will always have this one to look at together. So there's that. And that's it, you guys. Those are my 5 most beat up books on the bookshelf and the stories behind them. I'd love to see your guys' stories. I'd love to see the books that you love so much that they're falling apart, or the books that you love so much that you bought them anyway, maybe even because they were falling apart. But yeah, so I will list who I'm tagging in the info box down below. Feel free to do this video, you guys. Please feel free to take the tag and run with it. Please. But yeah, I just want to give a little bit of love to some of the backlist and some of the books that maybe we forget about in all the bright and new and shiny. Comment down below to let me know what you thought, or let me know about some of your best loved books. Like, subscribe, and I will see you guys around the internet. Bye.